You alluded to it, Matt. You said how hard it is to win on the road in conference play in general, but how about particularly in the SEC, where tonight we had Arkansas, one of the best teams in the country. I think that's fair to say. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. Go on the road to play LSU and suffer a loss, their first loss in conference play. LSU just wrapped up a 3-point victory, 60-57 tonight. Jim, let's go to you first here because I'm getting flashbacks here. I'm getting 2 weeks ago, everything we said about Missouri, they haven't played anyone. That applies to LSU too, right? Who now sits at 12-1 with a very impressive win over Arkansas.
Yeah, that's the exact point narrative I was going to make. They're like 2 wins behind Mizzou right now, doing the exact same thing, playing a weak non-con, but ramping up a team that, there was a point where McMahon had taken over and they, I think, had one guy on the roster. Like everyone was in the portal or they hadn't gotten anybody out of it. So clearly they had some time or needed some time to come together as a team. And I'll be honest, like you mentioned betting man, I was some of the big spread favorites where they were supposed to blow teams out at home. I wasn't buying it. I was betting the other side and was starting to think maybe LSU was fraudy's a mean word. I don't want to go that far, but not quite the 11-1 that they were. But man, did they validate it tonight? Arkansas put a run on them in the second half. Coach McMahon made a big time adjustment going zone. They were they were so prone to letting guys shoot. They were straight up walking away from guys at some points on the perimeter. And that's what it took. The athleticism of Arkansas's drivers was giving them a little bit of a problem. So they let them shoot from the perimeter and they scraped together enough buckets in front of that home crowd that we mentioned and got a huge win. When they haven't played that many big games, the ones they've played matter more. And this one now sits right atop their resume and kind of validates them. I was really impressed with the Tigers tonight.
4 for 25 from 3 for Arkansas, just to throw that out there to your point about the adjustment moving to zone and how that worked out for them. Matt, obviously no Nick Smith right now for Arkansas. We don't know if or when we're going to see Nick Smith again. I think some injury management going on with that right now. Who knows what that will look like down the line. But there's still plenty of talent on this Arkansas team. A very impressive win, right? For LSU, you have to be impressed with this result.
Oh, and I know off the air you think I'm going to give this guy credit because we have similar, names, Matt McMahon, Matt McCall. But where did most people pick LSU to start the season? If not last, second to last, because of what he walked into, because of all the players that were in the portal. He had one guy on scholarship at one point in time, and now all of a sudden he's got his team at 12-1. And you're so critical of scheduling, but I think when you're trying to piece it all together and you're trying to give your team confidence, I think that's what he's been able to do, is give his team confidence. I think Missouri did the exact same thing. They won some games, they built some momentum, and now their team is a confident basketball team that they can go beat a top 10 team at home. Obviously, like you mentioned, 4 for 25 for 3 from Arkansas. You kind of live by the 3, you die by the 3. You shoot those kind of numbers on the road, it's going to be very difficult to win. Hopefully Nick Smith gets back out there, because I do think Arkansas, if he's in the lineup, is a Final Four caliber team. So you want to see him back out there. But man, credit McMahon, credit his staff. His team has confidence. They're playing with confidence, and they got a heck of a win at home today.
Yeah, I got to give credit to RC, Randolph Childress, who actually was on a show that we recorded earlier this week that is going to air tomorrow night. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not, but just for the record, it was pre-recorded if you're watching tomorrow on the Field 68 After Dark. It was our resolution show. And when we got to talking about Arkansas, we mentioned how good Ricky Council has been so far this season. And RC kind of gave us the classic RC shrug that was like, yeah, you hope that continues, don't you? Well, tonight kind of came back to earth a little bit, 5 for 19 from the floor. To me, he has been Arkansas's best player this season. They've had injuries all over the place. Obviously, the Brazil injury really hangs over that team going forward. But, if Council is going to be that guy, I think you are prone to having a couple nights like this here and there, especially against a team like a Matt McMahon team who can adjust on the fly, throw different defenses at you. And that really worked out for them